Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Laura Beth. I'm a wedding planner, and today I'm going to talk you through things you can do to get started and get you going on your wedding planning journey. First things first, get excited. You've just got engaged, you need to celebrate it. Don't worry about all the other stuff to start with. Celebrate with friends and family, enjoy the moment and make the most of it. We got engaged in December 2019, so a couple of months ago now. And it was my favourite moment, being able to go and tell our family and our friends and get excited with everyone. I got literally mobbed by his sisters when I told them, or when we told them even, and I got to have nice drinks with my family. It was Christmas Eve when it happened down Rossily Bay in Wales, down the beach. So it was really nice to go home. It was all Christmassy and festive. My brother and sister were home then the next day and I got to tell them. So when I say enjoy it, I'm talking from experience. That moment is amazing. Make the most of it. Flash the ring, drink the champagne, show off on Facebook, on social media, do whatever you want to do, but really make sure you enjoy it and make the most of this special moment as a couple. Also, first things first, before you think about the wedding, plan an engagement party. Have fun. It doesn't have to be anything huge. We're probably going to keep it low key when we do our own after lockdown's finally finished. You can either host it in a house, in a garden in the summer. You could rent out a local function room or venue. Do what you want, but make sure you've just got all those people you care about around you and you can all celebrate and have some fun together. So you've been celebrating, you've enjoyed that. Next stage to do is start to kind of make those steps towards making wedding planning decisions. It's really tough, and it's one of the biggest questions I get asked is, where do I start? So today I thought I'd talk you through a few little steps that might help you along your journey, but I'd always love to hear what you guys have been up to. What did you do when you first got engaged? Because maybe you've got totally different ideas to me, but this is what I'd always recommend to clients that I'm working with and the processes that I'd always take them through. So first things first, sit down together and get that guest list written. It's really hard to do, and I'm not promising you there won't be any arguments around the way or along the way even. But before you do anything, you need to know how many people you've got, because if you've got 20, it's going to be very different to planning a wedding of 200. And if you've got 150, that's very different to planning an event for even just 100 people. Wedding venues will cater for different sizes and they'll have different rooms that you can have depending on your numbers. Your budget will depend on your numbers because it will be a per head for the catering, for the chairs, for the decor. Everything comes down to your guest numbers. So this is the first thing I want you to do. Set some rules when you get started. Are you going to invite children? Are you going to invite plus ones? Are you going to invite extended family? All these little things need to be discussed and put rules in place. It'll help you along the way. It'll stop or prevent or maybe help towards any less arguments that you might have between each other. It is a tough time, but yeah, sit down, get that guest list done, get a good idea on numbers first. Little statistic to give you, I suppose, with UK weddings, it tend to expect a 10 to 15% dropout on your numbers. If you're planning a foreign wedding, that number's a little bit higher, 25 to 30% of your guests won't be able to come because it's asking them to take more time away, and obviously flights, travel, all those kind of things. So yeah, there's a little bit of a dropout rate. Bear that in mind when you're planning your numbers. It might help you in your budget, but I'd still say always plan to the number you invite, but expect that not everyone can always attend your wedding day. Next thing, this should be a bit more fun. When do you want to get married? And try and pick a date. If you haven't got anything in mind, maybe just start thinking of what season you would like to get married in. Spring, summer, autumn, winter. 4 seasons, decide which ones you like. Next thing would be to decide what day of the week you want to get married on. If you've watched one of my previous videos on allocating budgets and budget saving tips, you'll know that a lot of vendors do offer discounts for weekday weddings. Not always, but it tends to be more flexible. Registry fees for your civil ceremony are often cheaper. So it's worth looking at. I have been to loads of weddings, Wednesdays, Mondays, Thursdays. And actually, it doesn't matter what day of the week it is. If you give your guests plenty of notice, they're guaranteed to have taken the time off for you. They'll want to be there and they'll make it happen no matter what day of week it is. I would say when you're looking at dates, narrow it down to maybe 3 max, minimum. You don't want to be going with, we are going to get married on July 18th, because you might find your dream venue and it may not be available on that day, and you may not be able to make everything work for you. So be open-minded, be flexible when you start looking for suppliers and venues. Have 3 dates in mind and see where you go from there. Also, along this line of thinking about dates, give yourself as much time as possible. I think the shortest I've ever planned a wedding in was in 3 or 4 weeks. It's totally doable, but your choices are going to be limited, and often that's when you can go over budget because it's panicking and just going for everything rather than having that time to step back, think it through, and then make informed choices. So give yourself as much time as possible. So when you're choosing your date, think maybe a year to 18 months in advance. That gives you so much time to relax, enjoy the process, and not feeling like it's going to completely take over your life. So we have a guest list and we have an idea of when. Next thing to do, I know I've gone about it, is create that budget. I'm not going to go too much into budget because I've gone into that in the past, but make sure you do your budget at this time. And if you've seen that video, you'll know, have a contingency plan and purchase that insurance. Those are 2 really important things to include in there. Don't miss them out. They apply to every single budget, no matter how big or small. If you've missed that video, click the link below and you can head on over and watch that. So once we've done your budget, it's time to start kind of dreaming about your wedding day. It's not all about facts and figures. A lot of it is, a lot of the planning is, and that's why I've tried to get it done as early as possible. But now I kind of want to encourage you to have a little bit of fun and start dreaming about your wedding day. And the best tool for this, it's free, it's online, every couple knows about it during wedding planning. It's the wonder of Pinterest. If you've never been on there before, there are loads of videos and help online of how to use it. Go and have a look. I will probably do a video at some point, but I haven't got one yet. If you're watching this in the future, maybe I have. I hope so. I'll put it down below if I do. But Pinterest is a great tool, and I would suggest you just start pinning. Pin inspiration on colours, on types of venues, dresses, flowers, anything that catches your eye. Don't just limit yourself to looking at wedding things. Look to design, interior design, look to nature, all these different things that might inspire you. Fashion as well, if you're into clothes and design. But pin everything, and after a while you'll start to see some sort of idea forming on there, because you will naturally pin things you love, and those things are going to form kind of a theme or style of your wedding. And by theme, I don't mean you have to go for a Gatsby theme, or you don't have to go for a superhero theme or something random and a bit cheesy like that. Although if you're doing a superhero theme, I'm sure you could do it quite cool. But yeah, don't think of a theme like that. A theme is kind of a cohesive look that's going to run right through your wedding, whether that be some sort of forest theme or a jungle, or it could be a summer theme or a pastel theme, or just something that you really love. Maybe you've been on holiday somewhere and naturally you're drawn to elements of that holiday and colours and feels. It's really important you do it at this stage, because before you start looking at suppliers, you've got an idea of what you're actually looking for and what you want, rather than choosing suppliers and then trying to make it all work for the design that you want. So have fun on Pinterest. If you've got ideas, you create mood boards, share them and tag me in them. I'd love to have a little look and see what you come up with. This next step, really important to do before you kind of start looking at suppliers and things, is set up a wedding email address. May sound like a really simple thing. You don't have to go for some cheesy name, you can call it whatever you want, but rather than kind of blocking up your work emails with wedding emails, or blocking your own personal account, which if it's anything like mine is full of spam that I've signed up to and never unsubscribed from, if you end up sending it there, you could completely lose really important things, quotes, all those sorts of things. So set yourself up with a separate email that both of you have access to. You can do nice files, venue files, inquiry files, floral files if you want, so everything's really divided up. And then when you're comparing quotes, you've got them in one space, they're all nice and organised. And post-wedding, you can just close that email address down. You don't have to look at it again. You don't then have loads of deals or mailing lists, you know, adding to the already high volume of spam that you already have in your account. So yeah, set yourself up a separate email address. It's free, it's so easy, and you can do it within 5 minutes, and it'll make you feel really organised as well. Okay, so the first supplier I would suggest you start looking at, other than a planner, if that's what you want to go down, but we won't go into that today, I'm going to stay off that. is your wedding venue, because your wedding venue will really set what you do for everything else. It'll set the area, so you'll want to look at local suppliers around there. It'll set the theme, the style. Your venue is likely to be one of the most expensive things. Again, referring back to that budget video, if you haven't watched it, go and check it out. So knowing what you spend on this will either, if it's less, allow you to allocate more to some of your other important items, or if it's more, you can kind of cut down on some of the less important items on your wedding day. So the venue search is great to do, it's great fun. Whilst we're in lockdown at the moment, you can still be doing this. You can be sending emails out, you can be asking questions, you can be doing research online, and post-lockdown, you're then armed with maybe 5 venues that you absolutely love. You've weeded out any others that really aren't suitable for you based on those 21 questions on that other video that I did. Again, I will link below, and you can go out there straight out the gate, really organised, and you can get your wedding booked. Post-lockdown, if you're looking back at this, email them, call them, get booking, get show rounds organised, and go and see your venues. Treat them as date days and just enjoy them. Some venues will include food in your visit, some you can book to stay overnight, so you can enjoy a little overnight stay and a weekend away. But really enjoy this moment, and when you've found that venue, you will know it will just give you a gut feeling, and everything then stems from that venue and your ideas. After you've got your venue, you've got your date, you've got your budget, you've got all your ideas, you've got your themes organised, now it's time to start looking at suppliers. And again, you're going to want to do a lot of research online for this. It'll be a lot of emails, calls, that sort of thing, chances to meet with people. I would always recommend that you kind of go for about 3 options per category. So maybe 3 photographers, 3 florals, 3 decor companies, whatever it is that you're going for. Get quotes from them. You can then have a see what's like for like and how much you'd be spending with each supplier, and then ultimately which suppliers do you get the best feeling from, especially for people like photographers who are going to be spending an awful lot of time with you on your wedding day. You want to make sure you actually like them. I've worked with brides in the past that maybe have just booked someone because they've seen an advert of them, or they've seen them at a wedding fair, or they've seen some really awesome Instagram pictures that they've done. This is not always the best way to book people, because at the end of the day, it's all about personality, and if they don't gel with your personality or don't work how you'd want to work, maybe, and I'm using photography as an example because it's a really easy one, they're really posed. They get great Instagram shots, but that's because they spend an awful lot of time posing couples and getting the perfect portraits. You may really want that, and there is nothing wrong with that. It's amazing to have those memories. But if you're someone who likes really candid photography, really relaxed and natural, and you don't really like standing in front of a camera, that sort of photographer is not going to be suitable for you. So always chat to people, always meet up in person if possible. Video calls at the moment are great as well, and have a chat and see if you just feel comfortable in front of them. Another way that's great to build up a relationship with these sorts of people is book engagement shoots and things like that as well. That'll give you a chance for your photographer to get to know you, and also for you to get to know your photographer, and how to get more comfortable in front of the camera as well. So this stage of sourcing your suppliers and building your A-team is really important. So do a lot of research, have a lot of meetings, drink a lot of coffee with them. That's what we do in the wedding industry, and make sure that you feel really 100% confident before booking anyone and committing. So as you're booking all these suppliers as well, keep referring back to that budget. Keep putting in what your actual spends are versus your estimated. You'll be able to see things, adding up. I can guarantee you that if you put £1,500 for your photographer, you will not actually end up spending that. You might go over, you might go under. But if you're reviewing that budget constantly, that means then you can look further down the list and pull from the bottom items that you don't want, to make sure as we move down and as we continue to book suppliers that we're not, blowing that budget, and we're not going to have a panic later on. So keep referring back. We didn't create that budget just as an exercise, we've done it to make it work. So go back to it, adjust, update, and talk about it as much as you can. And that's kind of it. You're on your way to planning a wedding. It is hard, there's a lot of things to talk about, and hopefully in my videos I can really help talk you through how to do this quite simply and easily, and most importantly that you enjoy it. I cannot guarantee that you will not snap at your darling other half that you absolutely love and adore. There will be moments when you're at each other's throats and you can't agree. It happens. Me and my other half will have arguments about it, I have no doubt. But it's important you always remember what's at the heart of it, that you're getting married and that you love each other, and that's why you're doing it all. And just don't let everything else take over that, because after all, saying I do and getting married is what you're doing this for. So enjoy the process, have fun with it, talk about it, spend date nights doing it, spend evenings together, cook nice food, open a bottle of wine and make the most of this journey. Because actually, from what I've heard from most brides when they've finished, is they kind of miss this planning process. So bear that in mind as you enter this journey. Enjoy every moment, and remember there is life after wedding planning, so make the most of it whilst you're doing it, and then you've got new adventures to look forward to after it's all over. Thank you for joining me today, and I really hope you enjoyed watching this video and it's given you some inspiration to start those steps to your wedding planning journey and to get down the aisle to say I do. As I said, I'd love to hear what you're up to and how you're getting on, what you're finding hard, what you're really enjoying, so pop some comments down below, and I look forward to chatting to you all on there. Please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done already, and share it with your friends so we can all enjoy and have a more positive planning experience together with less overwhelm and stress. And I'll see you here for another video very, very soon.